You've been named one of the most influential people of African descent under 40. And when you talk about driving investment in Africa, and you say the greatest potential that Cameroon has is the people, I totally agree with that. And we have the youngest under 30 population in the world, or the largest, I beg your pardon, under 30 population in the world. And you have these young entrepreneurs and people who are trying every day to build something. And each time I have conversations with these people, sometimes they say their greatest hindrance or obstacle to development is capital. And I wonder, because we don't have the infrastructure that makes it easy for capital to leave from funders to the average person, to the startups that need it. In your experience, what has been that thing that has broken that the barrier, or the barrier each time you have faced it and say, okay, this is a startup, or these are a group of young people who need funding, who need investment. It can't reach them because of this and that reason. The reasons for why investments are limited in Africa are just many. What have been some of those challenges, and how have you been able to navigate them to build the kind of impact that you have thus far?
I think when you look into Africa is very diverse, 54 countries. If you look at some of the cities, when I was in the US, I was based in Austin, Texas, which is one of the highest startup scene area in the whole of US, following by Boston. But what you tend to see in those areas where startups are having a lot of finance, it's not because first of the lack of the finance, it's first the platform. When you look into a country like Cameroon, there are not a lot of platforms that kind of like embodies and push for startups. You know, our startups here don't have the infrastructure they need, because first you need to have the platform. There needs to be the political will that supports the people to create and unleash their full potentials. Then after the platform, now we are talking about the money, because when you look around the world, it's not about the lack of capital. There's a lot of money out there. The access is how bankable some of those projects and businesses that those startups have, and how are they doing to attract the money. Because when I travel around the world and I go to some investment events, you'll be amazed on how much is available to be pumped into the continent. But there is that gap that needs to be filled between the money and the projects. And the projects also needs to be tied into like the infrastructure and the entrepreneur itself. You know, a lot of times investors don't only put money based on your project, they put it on the entrepreneur himself, individual itself. And I see that problem a lot in Cameroon.
And how do